Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you to Andreas Brandstetter for the invitation to address you today. There is a role for all of us in building resilience in the digital era. Digital industries should create safe products and services. This is essential for gaining consumer trust, which is itself essential for assuring the uptake of the products and services themselves. To create the necessary trust towards artificial intelligence, the Commission has recently adopted the Artificial Intelligence Act. This regulation ensures that AI systems developed and used in Europe comply with fundamental rights and do not create safety risks. We have important rules in Europe protecting fundamental rights and preventing discrimination. It is important that such rules can be applied also when AI is used. The AI Act provides for specific requirements to ensure the enforcement of these rules. This is important for citizens, but also for companies, as it creates the necessary legal certainty. It will facilitate the use of AI by companies and citizens. Many insurance companies use already AI systems to provide their services. The proposed regulation will ensure that this is done without creating, for example, risks of discrimination based on gender, race, or other parameters. This will reassure you as users of these systems and also your customers. However, let me stress that consumer trust is also established by the possibility for compensation when something goes wrong. Insurance companies enable this. It is the role of policymakers, my role included, to assure legal certainty by having clear rules when things go wrong. Simply put, the EU legislation covering the safety of products does not cover many digital products. This must change. Analog or digital, consumers should have the same protection. There is, however, no such thing as 100% safe, and this is where liability rules come in. There may be a need to update liability rules to address the challenges of digital technologies, just as for product safety. Existing liability rules are based on the notion of an easily identifiable human actor responsible for compensating damage. For AI, this may not exist. Some AI systems are called black box because it is very difficult to identify a responsible person or prove a link between an action of that person or a manufacturing defect and the damage. As Berg underlined very clearly in their publication last year, the EU's Product Liability Directive needs to be updated. The Commission will look at how to clarify liability for AI devices, for example, be it for the producer, the software developer, or the operator, or all of the above. We also need to decide what constitutes a product. In other words, whether EU legislation should also apply to software, including AI systems. And we will also look at how to make it easier for victims to claim compensation either from the producer or from other wrongdoers, such as operators. A possible solution could be reversing the burden of proof. At the same time, not all areas of liability are covered by the European Union. This is a concern because without horizontal rules at the EU level, Member States will review their own liability regimes to address the challenges of AI. This will lead to fragmentation in the single market. We should not harmonize civil liability rules beyond what is needed. The Commission's experts have already had the chance to discuss this with many of you already, including our host today. One important question is about voluntary or mandatory insurance for AI. Mandatory insurance is likely to apply to a small number of AI-enabled products or services where the safety of the general public is at risk. Traffic management systems, for example. Eventual EU-wide rules must clearly specify who should take out insurance. Insurers also need to have effective recourse for claims if this mechanism is to work. The vast majority of AI-enabled products and services will in any case not be subject to a mandatory insurance obligation, but only possibly voluntary insurance. I know that access to data is important for the development of insurance services. I know insurers need information about AI products from developers to understand risk factors to calculate insurance premiums. I'm looking into this and how to make data accessible for this purpose. I also know Australia has surveyed consumers about their own willingness to share data with insurance companies. The sharing of consumers' data raises a number of questions related to data protection and non-discrimination. It is important that such sharing is done in compliance with all the relevant rules. Tailor-made insurance premiums, if done in compliance with the applicable rules, could bring a benefit for insurance companies and users. Resilience in the digital era is not just about protection, but also about opportunities. And there are many opportunities for businesses as for consumers. I look forward to hearing your thoughts today. Thank you very much.